All right. Good evening, everybody, from the Wainwright School community. My name is Ryan Hutchings. I'm the new principal at Wainwright Elementary. I wanted to take a moment to welcome you and thank you for tuning in tonight. If you have any friends or family members that may miss this broadcast, we will be recording it and making sure that it's posted to our PTA site so that others can go back and view the information at a later time. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to talk about the district's plan and Wainwright's plan to reconnect safely and return strong for the 2020-2021 school year. Okay. There will be a PowerPoint presentation that is posted on the PTA website that you can also download and follow along. It'll also be projected momentarily after we get going for you guys to kind of read along with me. If you guys have questions, you can post them in the chat on the right-hand side of the YouTube screen there. If you're a Spanish speaker, we'll address your questions at the end when our translator can go ahead and read them back to me. If you're an English speaker, I'm going to try and keep up with the questions that come up in the chat as we go along. I'll pause and I'll make sure that I ask or answer any questions that come up. Okay. Can somebody in the chat just let me know everything is going smoothly? You guys can hear it. This is our first time with our tech doing it this way, and I want to make sure that the message is heard loud and clear. All right, great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me know. All right, so we'll get started. Just wait for the presentation to post. Okay. Let the Spanish folks know. Oh, yeah, so we're gonna pause for just a minute. We're making sure, so let me kind of explain the setup for tonight. We have a moderator, Mr. Mundy, a PTA member that's working to make sure that this live feed is being translated simultaneously in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking community members. So we just want to make sure that they're hearing it just as clearly as you guys are here on the English side. Okay. Okay. Sure. All right. Yeah, we're good on the English side. I have multiple participants say that we sound good here. All right. All right, so guys, we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for being patient as we work through some of our tech stuff. This is our first time doing this kind of broadcast. But I am kind of excited because the as we kind of figured this out, when we do transition back and we are back to what we would consider normal school, this will be a great platform for us to reach the community members that can't come in for face-to-face meetings. So this will be something that once we master it, it'll be something that'll help move our school forward for sure. So go ahead to the next slide. So the way the meeting's going to run is I'm going to go ahead and present the information that's been shared with me as a principal from the district office from Dr. Lathan and the Northwest area. We have Mr. Rangel, one of our teachers here, translating for us for our Spanish community members. We have Mr. Mundy is volunteering his time as a PTA member to moderate and make sure that the technology is working on both feeds. And then at the end, we will have a time for question and answers following this formal presentation. Along the way, if you do have questions and you would like to post them in the chat, please feel free to do so. Okay. So tonight we're going to go over these kind of items and kind of go a little bit more in depth. We're going to talk a little bit about our new calendar and start dates that have been revised. We're going to go over how teaching and learning will look virtually. We're going to go over the policy on grades, the policy on attendance. We're going to talk about making sure that everyone has a device and a hotspot. We're going to make sure that you guys are made aware of different options for parent training so you know how to support your child at home. We're going to talk about the campus instructional continuity plan that's been put together in conjunction with the district, with Wainwright, and then input from other folks that impact our plan. We're going to talk about the plan for in-person return briefly, as we're still not sure 100% what that will look like. So I'll provide what we know so far. And then I'll go over some of the key dates like meet the teacher and the registration and that kind of stuff. And then you guys will have a chance to go ahead and ask me questions. And hopefully I'll have the answers. If I don't, I'll script them and I'll make sure that an FAQ gets posted to the PTA page so that you guys can reference it back. Okay? So we do have a new calendar and we do have a new set of start dates for the 2020-2021 school year. Okay, so we are now starting with students on September 8th. It's a Tuesday. It's the day after Labor Day. And that will be our first day of school, but it will be virtual. So nobody will be coming to campus. We will stay virtual for 6 weeks of instruction, which will take us until October 19th. We will then, the plan is to then transition to a face-to-face, possibly hybrid model of bringing kids in smaller groups, all dependent on local and state and national level input from health officials. So the October 19th is our quote unquote return date. However, that final decision will not be made until about 3 weeks into the school year. So right now, this is what we're going with, but that could change depending on how COVID-19 progresses. Okay. And then September 8th to January 29th will be the first semester of learning. So we will be continuing into the spring, well, into the new year, and it'll still be part of that fall semester. Okay. We still know that parents and families may still be kind of concerned and worried about coming back to school, as staff members and teachers are as well. So as we transition back from remote virtual learning, parents will have the choice whether to return face-to-face or even to hold their child back longer. The only thing that the district will stipulate is that if you decide to hold your child home, they'll still receive virtual instruction. However, it'll have to be for a 6-week period. So if you decide to keep your child home, it'll be based on 6-week periods for grading cycles. If you decide that it's okay for your child to come back to school and we are reopening, then you can go ahead and send your child every 6 weeks and make a decision based on the current situation with COVID-19. So the overview for teaching and learning. The student learning experiences are going to be a little bit different than what we had in the spring when we had to kind of build the airplane as we were flying. per se, with virtual instruction. We've learned a lot, and we've looked at what we did good, what we did well at, I'm sorry, and what we could do better at, and we've kind of made a plan from there. So some of the students' learning will continue to be self-guided in the sense that assignments and activities will be posted, and the student will access them and work on them independently. However, we will have a schedule of actual face-to-face teacher interaction time, and that'll be communicated out. We'll talk about a sample one tonight so that you know when your student's teacher will be available and when they can engage in actual virtual face-to-face learning, okay? Students will complete the self-paced stuff. There's 2 learning platforms. We're going to be continuing to use Microsoft Teams, just like we did last year. That's where the live lessons, the small group instruction, the virtual face-to-face, like we are doing right now, will take place. Assignments and activities and resources will all be posted to our learning management system, which we refer to as the Hub. Okay, and the Hub is just like a platform where all the materials will be posted by class, and the kids can just sign in and double click on the resources, and they'll be able to access them. There are still going to be other digital resources that are provided to us by the school district, such as Imagine Learning, the digital textbooks, Mayan. There's access to the Houston Public Library and those kind of things. Okay, so on this next slide, you're going to see a sample day of what a student may experience when we return on September 8th. In the morning, we're going to have a brief check-in meeting with students and parents. You're welcome to kind of lean in as well to make sure that we kick the day off correct. We want to make sure that technology is working. We want to make sure students are in the zone to start learning, and we want to take care of any issues that may arise and distract us from the actual instruction that will take place later in the day. After we transition out of that advisory period or that homeroom check-in period, we'll go into our first block of instruction, and the blocks of instruction are roughly an hour and a half. Some grade levels have a slightly different one. This is just a sample. But on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that our breakdown is going to be kind of where we have a little bit of whole group instruction going on, and that's the face-to-face with the teacher. There's going to be a small group breakout where the teacher meets with certain students in a small group and works on targeted skills. Then the other kids that are not in that small group will be working on the independent practice pieces that are posted in the Hub. It may be a digital resource like Imagine Learning, but they'll be doing that by themselves. And then the teacher will shift and they'll swap. So the other group of students will then drop into a small group. They'll interact with the teacher on a targeted skill. And the other students that were just with the teacher will work on their independent practice. At the end of the instructional block, the teacher will then check in again with the class members to make sure everything kind of went well and that there's no questions, so that if a student didn't finish certain assignments, they have the information needed to move forward. So after that, you know, our students will still continue to attend their ancillary or their special class, which is like art, library, PE. Those classes will still continue to happen, the science lab. We've built in brain breaks, both in the morning and the afternoon for about 15 minutes so that kids and teachers and everyone can kind of just step away from the computer, rest their eyes, get some water, stand up, do those kind of things. And then we'll transition into another instructional block, okay? We'll have lunch. We'll have brain breaks again in the afternoon, followed by a third instructional block. And then in the end of the day, on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, we'll have small group intervention time where the teacher can work with kids that are struggling on certain specific skills, as well as on Tuesday and Thursday, time for office hours for about an hour where parents and students can drop in and say, hey, I'm struggling here, or I have questions about this, and get their answers there. So that's going to be a sample day, and what it'll look like on the other side. From what I hear from last semester, it was a little less structured. But as we move forward, we're going to be going over some of the grading and attendance policies that the state and the district are enforcing. And this structure will allow us to make sure that kids are making progress. Okay. What we will also do on these more structured schedules is we will make sure that about 2 weeks in, after we've had a good couple weeks to practice the routine and get into the schedule and work with the kids, we'll be polling parents and talking to teachers, students, and parents to see how it's going. If it's a little bit too structured, we may readjust. If it's not structured enough, we may kind of tighten up. But we just want to make sure that we start off with a pretty structured schedule, because as you're going to learn in a little bit, grades and attendance are going to count this year, whereas last semester there was a little bit less emphasis put on them because of the situation. So communication tools. I wanted to make sure that you guys are aware that we're going to try to keep you guys in the loop every step of the way. So the different modalities that we are going to use as a campus and district include Class Dojo. So that's one thing that was in place here for some grade levels last year, not all, but we will be streamlining that, and all grade levels will be using Class Dojo, as well as our administration team, to make sure that messages are being sent out regularly to our parents in our community so that everyone's on the same page. If you're not a Class Dojo kind of person, we are also going to be using Twitter. We're also going to use our school website. Many of you probably got a call out through the school messenger system from us on Tuesday. We'll continue to use that. And then I'm going to be scheduling community meetings with you guys like we are doing right now, as we transition into the new year and as we start the new year, so that I can get feedback on how things are going on your guys' end. Okay. However, in the meantime, we do have a small group of folks that are at the school every day to take phone calls. So you can always call the school. If you call the school, the front office staff will take a message and make sure to email the teacher, email the administrator, email me, or whoever needs to deal with the concern or the question, so that we can get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. Also, the district has a hotline, and I provided the information there, that is available from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. that you can go ahead and call and try to get technology support and other supports as well. What will also be communicated with teachers, or not teachers, I'm sorry, with parents and the community, is an email directory of our staff members. So if you're trying to contact a teacher, you're trying to contact me, you're trying to contact the assistant principal or the school secretary, you'll be able to find their contact information quite easily to shoot us a message in this virtual world. So the communication is not going to stop. We are going to continue to post whatever we put in Dojo. We'll go on Twitter. Whatever goes in Twitter will also be on the website. We'll do call outs regularly. And then you also have the information to call the school. Okay. So let's get back to the grading policy for the next upcoming school year. So grades are going to be taken this year, and they're going to count each grading cycle for the 2020 and 2021 school year. So all cycles put together, just like in normal years, will be used to calculate a final average for the students' yearly class average. They're going to be updated each week, and they're going to be available to you via the HISD Connect parent portal. And that's going to be our new management system this year. Many of you may have used GradeSpeed in the past, or Parent Student Connect. The district has shifted to HISD Connect parent portal, but it's just as live and as in real time as the GradeSpeed was. So that'll be there so that you can track your students' progress and check their grades and make sure that everything is moving along. However, grades will count. So whereas last year we were very sensitive and we kind of were a little more lenient because of the situation, knowing a lot of families didn't have internet access or didn't have access to a computer that was working. We didn't want to jeopardize the students for those lack of resources. But this year, we will be making sure that all families and eventually students have a device and internet so that they can access the course material so that their grades will count. Okay? The attendance policy. So the attendance policy is a little bit different. And, in years past, we had to be, in school in their seat by 9:30 a.m. to be considered marked present for the day. However, this year is going to be a little bit different with the virtual learning. Okay. HISD and the state has stated that in order for a student to still be promoted and to still move through the grade level, there has to be an attendance component where 90% of their attendance in their classes is met. So remote attendance is going to factor into that. So what's very important to know is that you need to be counted present each and every day in order to meet that 90% of class time. Okay. To be counted present, students have to be completing and doing one of the following bullet points below. They need to be able to interact with their teacher via Teams, face-to-face virtually, like we're doing now, or drop into one of those small group instruction sessions or the intervention session, and they'll be marked present for the day. If a student, for whatever reason, doesn't sign in that day to meet with their teacher during their instructional blocks, however, the student does work to submit assignments via the hub, so they complete the activity that the teacher had posted, they can get marked present for that as well because they still engaged in learning for the day. If they complete activities in any of the digital resources that have been posted to the hubs, maybe the Imagine Math or Imagine Learning, the teachers can use that also to mark the kid present. My recommendation, and the teachers will be pressing for it too, is that the student interacts with the teacher on a daily basis to make sure that they're having that connection and getting that quote unquote live attention with their teacher, because that's the best way for us to ensure that students are learning. The other thing about attendance is our ADA will no longer be at 9:30. Our ADA is going to be at 2:30 in the afternoon. Okay. A student has not logged in, spoke with a teacher, attended small group, completed an assignment in the hub. At 2:30 p.m., the teacher will submit the attendance and that student will be marked absent. However, the absence can be resolved and can be fixed if that student engages in daily learning assignments by their teachers sometime from 2:30 up until 11:59 p.m. So if for whatever reason your child is unable to attend the virtual face-to-face classes or the intervention blocks, but they can maybe after dinner sit down and get some of the assignments knocked out, we can go back and resolve the attendance and prove that your child did do learning that day and did do an assignment, and change their attendance to present. At 6 p.m. each day, the district will be doing a call out to any parent that had a student that was marked absent on a particular day. So if for whatever reason at 2:30 a student hasn't signed in yet and has been marked absent, at 6 p.m., you as a parent will be receiving a notification via school messenger saying your child was not in attendance today, and that should be a reminder to you to get your kiddo on the computer so that they can then complete an assignment and get it posted by 11:59 so that they can go back and change that attendance. Okay. So let's talk about devices and hotspots. In August, and we've already kind of started some of this, Mr. Lara has been reaching out, and I know some of our clerical staff here have been reaching out. We will be making sure that each student and families have access to technology and internet, okay? The plan for the district is to provide each family with a computer and a hotspot if needed, based on the results from us calling out. The priority distribution for the laptops are going to be given to our at-risk students. So these are students that are labeled special education. These are students that may be tier 3 intervention. These are students that may be labeled as an English learner. So they'll get the laptops first. And then what the district is going to do is work with families to make sure that every student within the home has a device ultimately. The district has placed a massive order of for laptops and Chromebooks and iPads, as well as hotspots. However, so has everybody else across our nation. So production is a little slow, but we are getting in spurts sets of technology devices. We also have internet access that's going to be offered through hotspots. The IT department with HISD, along with finance from HISD, are working to figure out how we can purchase and ensure that monthly services are being taken care of for families that may not have internet in the home. So that is something that we are working on, the district is working on. You'll be receiving calls over the next couple of weeks to ensure that you have everything you need to start the year with a device on September 8th. In the meantime, if for whatever reason you are missing an essential piece of technology, then you need to make sure you reach out to the school just to let us know. And we'll make sure that we have our records reflect that so that we can then turn around and get you the equipment that you need. So the question I see coming in on the English chat is about an iPad. If you have an iPad at home, is it going to be compatible with online platforms, or do we need a laptop? That's a good question. I know some of our platforms work better on laptops than iPads, but I will reach out to our IT department and see what's best. I'm pretty sure that the iPad will work because I know the district did provide those to our primary grades in the beginning of the pandemic, but I'm going to make sure I get that answer for you, Ms. Cummings, and I'll make sure it gets posted to the PTA website in the next couple of days, okay? So iPads compatible or need laptop. All right, great question. So that's all for technology. And again, we're going to be reaching out and making sure everybody has a device ready to go for September 8th. The district is also putting together parent trainings. So the parent trainings are going to go live on August 10th, so Monday. I'll be tweeting out, the school will be tweeting out, the PTA will post it, we'll put it on the website. The links for parents to receive training around how to utilize and access the hub, which is the platform we're posting all of our assignments on, as well as other resources for making sure that your child is ready for success. So if you look at the chart, it talks about our HISD at home platform. It talks about the description of the training being that it'll give you guys guidance on how to help develop the learning schedule for your kids at home, how to make sure that you know how to access district resources, and where to go for additional support. But what I'll tell you is ultimately your child and you guys are part of the Wainwright family. So any issues that come up with technology or access, you need to ask your teacher, you need to call the school, you need to email us as administrators to make sure that we can make sure you have everything in order to make sure your kid can access the material, okay? So another training the district will be putting out is about Imagine Learning and how you can access that. They're gonna be putting out trainings again on Monday. So as soon as I know the links and the areas that you need to go to access them, I'll be posting them so that you guys can see them, okay? I see another question coming from Ms. Cardaza. Will HIC be providing additional resources and trainings for parents with kids in SPED? So yes, special education has been a thing that we've been really looking at, making sure that we can target with the specific skills. I will make sure that we get an answer about what special ed trainings may be being posted, but if not, you're going to be able to work with our department chair as well as Ms. Moody and myself to make sure that you are getting the support you need to provide the instruction that you need for your special needs child. Okay. So let me see. HISD sponsored. HISD sponsors special ed training. Great. Good questions. Thank you so much. All right. Let me talk to you a little bit now about the Campus Instructional Continuity Plan. The Campus Instructional Continuity Plan is a pretty extensive document that Ms. Moody, myself, Mr. Lara, some teachers, Ms. Thurman, I've been getting insight from some of the PTA members to create this document. And what it is kind of the Wainwright manual for how we're going to continue teaching and learning in this virtual setting. Okay. The plan includes a lot of different things. It includes the email directory so parents know who to contact. It includes supports for you as parents on how to socially and emotionally support your child from home. It provides resources like our daily schedules. It talks about how we're going to handle intervention when students are struggling. We talk about all the communication platforms, how to access them, and when material will be posted. We talk about the dual language program and how we're going to support that as we move forward. And then we also have support for all the different special populations of students. So special education, 504, gifted and talented, English learners, dyslexia. There's protocols and everything put in place so that we can make sure that while we're virtual, the students that need the support are getting the support. The document is twofold. One fold is an internal type document that teachers and administrators will use to guide our work. The other part of the document is for the community and parents, and it's designed for you guys to have access to different links, different staff members to help answer your things, your questions. So once I submit that to the district, the due date is tomorrow. They'll give me feedback, and then I'll be posting the parent campus instructional continuity plan to our website and tweeting it out so that you guys have access to it. And then you guys can get your questions answered there on how we do it. But I'm going to stress again, if you're not getting the questions, or if you're not getting answers to the questions that you have, then you need to make sure that you're calling the school or emailing me to make sure that it's on my radar so that I can address it. Whereas in the past, you could just come to the school and drop by and we could have a chat about it. Now everything kind of needs to go through the email or the call way so that we can make sure that you're getting the support you need while we're virtual for these first 6 weeks. Okay. Now let's briefly talk about a plan for reopening. So like I said earlier, the district has made a decision, well, we'll be making a decision about what the reopening will look like around week 3 of the first semester. So that puts us around the last week of October, or last week of September, where you'll be hearing more. We have plans that have been made to make sure that the schools have been outfitted with enough PPE for every child each day, for every staff member each day. And then other safety upgrades are being made to the campuses across HISD. And those include signage, things on the floor to make sure people are standing distant, reduced numbers of students in classrooms, shield guards around teachers and students. We'll have increased amount of ongoing cleaning in the high traffic areas like our restrooms, cafeteria, main office, door handles, that kind of stuff, drinking fountains. And then anybody that is entering the campus from student up will have to go through an entry screening to make sure there's no fever, cough, and those kind of things. I don't want to go into too many more particulars about what the reopening plan will look like in October, because I know that it is constantly changing. But those 4 bullet points are things that are going to be a mainstay. Those are things that they're preparing for now to make sure that when we do reopen, that we are able to do it in a safe way. However, as for, are we bringing back all kids at once? Are we doing a hybrid schedule where half kids come one day and half kids come the other day? None of that has been decided yet. So I don't want to put anything out there that may not be what actually ends up happening. However, 3 weeks into September, We will be having another meeting just like we are right now once I receive guidance from the district about what the plan is looking for October 19th. Okay. So I see another question in the English chat that states, we will struggle with Spanish virtually because we do not speak Spanish in the home. How will we move forward? Will it be offered in English while virtual? So the plan is to continue with our dual language program the way it is. We are looking into several different options for supporting our non-Spanish speaking parents in the time that we're virtual. One way we're doing that is I'm actively seeking bilingual academic tutors to assign to student groups to help them with assignments. We also have the built-in intervention blocks in the small groups with teachers throughout the day so that students can have their questions answered that way. We're also going to be working with the PTA, and this is something that just is starting to get off the ground, with trying to find some bilingual, what we call bilingual buddies in the neighborhood. And these are going to be bilingual community members, bilingual parents, maybe bilingual older siblings that are interested in kind of providing support to the parents that are monolingual, but still want their child to move forward with the Spanish, because we know that with the dual language, it's 50-50, and that parents may struggle not knowing the language. The other thing that I'll say is that I know that our teachers are cognizant of the demands that are placed on students and parents during this time, and will definitely be sensitive to the fact that our non-Spanish speaking students and parents will need to have a little bit of patience, a little bit of flexibility as we try to make sure that we provide the dual language support. Okay. So just a couple updates on back to school registration. So registration for pre-K, if you have a pre-K kiddo, is going to be August 10th, which is obviously this Monday. Kindergarten will be August 11th, which is Tuesday next week. And then we'll do 1st through 5th grade on August 12th and 13th. Due to the fact that we need to be remaining socially distant and all that, we will require that you wear PPE when reporting to the school for registration. We will also require that you have an appointment. So in order to make sure that we don't have too many families at one time, we want to make sure you call the main office at the number provided there, schedule your time for your appointment to meet with our registrar, Ms. Cloud, and then we can assist you that way. In the meantime, you can stop by Wainwright at any time tomorrow or early next week, and the packets will be available for you to pick up so that you can go home, make sure you have all the paperwork in order and filled out so that when you do come back for your actual appointment, you just drop off the information, we go through it really quickly, and it'll be a real short process. So that's our back to school registration plan. So please call if you need to register students. The next date that I think is pretty important is our Meet the Teacher. Meet the Teacher is going to be on Thursday, September 3rd, from 3:00 p.m. to 5:00 p.m. And it's going to be virtual. So more information is going to come out about how you can access your student's teacher, as well as who your student will have as a teacher at that time. So that'll be coming up. Once teachers get back, we'll make sure that our homerooms and our class rosters are established. And then we'll be communicating that out to you all, as well as how you're going to be able to virtually meet your teacher to hear from them specifically on how we will begin the school year. Okay. So at this time, I would like to kind of wrap up the meeting and let you know that, again, our campus phone number, you can call it anytime from 7:30 to 4. We have people here in the building to answer your call. They'll take a message for you and email it to the particular staff member that needs to be addressed so that we can get back to you within the 24 to 48 hour window and answer your question. At any time, if you probably want a quicker answer to your question, it's probably best to reach out to either Ms. Thurman, our school secretary, with the email right there, or myself, Ryan Hutchings, with my email, because then we can go ahead and correspond that way or set up a time to have a virtual conference. But again, I want you to know, as me being the new principal here at Wainwright, that I'm here to make sure that I support not only your kids, but you in this venture as we move into this new school year with a little bit more accountability for grades and attendance. I know that there's still a lot of unanswered questions, and that may cause anxiety and some apprehensiveness, but know that deep down, I know our area superintendent and our district superintendent are making decisions based on the safety of our teachers, the safety of our staff, and the safety of your families. So while we're all in this together, I want you to know that you can reach out to me at any time to make sure you have all the resources you need to support your kiddo with virtual learning. Okay, I see the question about the laptop, so I will share that with the district IT department to see if there's like a model type computer that they recommend that parents purchase. But if not, like I said, I'm going to be working with the admin to make sure that everybody does have a device that they can check out and get in their hands so that they'll have that available. So IT, this is computer specs. Another question says supply lists. Would we be able to get those before the teacher? Yes. So supply lists are something that we're talking about early on when teachers come back on the 24th. I'll make sure that those get posted so that you guys have some time to gather the materials. What we are going to try and do is make sure that teachers are creative with different things that parents would have lying around the house, so that they can go ahead and kind of start to gather those materials and put them in a little learning zone for the student in a little corner there. And then also, if parents are struggling with getting certain supplies, then that gives them time to reach out to the school and make a request with our wraparound specialist to see if we can get some of those materials out to you guys and get them in the hands of students so that they can be successful. Oh, I missed that. Let's see. Oh, I missed out. Well, we have our class dojo login before school starts, and when will we know who our child? Okay, so the teachers, we're working on that right now. I don't want to give a specific date. I need to speak with Ms. Cloud to make sure. I know we're working on setting up our homerooms and making sure that the right kids are with the right spots, but that will be communicated out probably that first week that teachers come back. So I'm guessing that'll be around, at the earliest, around like the 20th, 21st, but probably more likely around the 26th, 27th to be safe. Okay. And then the dojo, once we get everything kind of up and going, we'll make sure that the dojo login will start so that we can start communicating with the families. Okay. And then I see that Miss Cardoza asked the same question. Good. Again, so before I sign off, I know this is kind of a one-way street with you guys asking questions in the chat. I just want to make sure that you guys know that you guys can call the school, you can reach out, we'll work together to make sure we can do everything that we can to make sure your child is supported. Mr. Rangel, at this time, do we have any questions in the Spanish chat that I should address? Okay. So then we have one, will the registration packs be available outside the school doors so we can pick up over the weekend? I can make sure that we get a little plastic box, set up out by the gates so that you guys can kind of reach through and grab them. We did do that at my previous school so that parents that couldn't get here during the week could grab them by the front of the school. I'll put that down on my notes to get that out there for tomorrow. Okay, so at this time, if there's no other questions, I'll go ahead and sign off. I appreciate everybody logging in. Please let your community members and your families that may have missed the meeting, your friends around you, know that they can access it off the PTA website if they have questions. And we'll just work together to make sure that your kiddos and you guys are supported so that when we can be able to be face-to-face again and be back to normal, that we can move forward even more. Okay, I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys so much.